Paul, I know what you did last week on the Colts, and you eviscerated Matt Ryan. You said you're convinced that he's done. I got to tell you, you're either with me or you're against me on this one. Matt Ryan's not the problem in Indy. It's Frank Reich. This guy he's not. I think he's like no longer overrated, but man, has he been overrated in his time in Indy. Missed the playoffs last year. The performance again yesterday, right out of the gates again. 5 drives in the first half, 24 points for the Titans. You're down 24-3. Like, that's the ballgame. You're fighting an uphill battle the entire time. I know the defense has had some injuries, and the offensive line has been terrible. But why does Frank Reich get a pass? I think this guy should be in trouble, and he could lose his job.
I think he is. And I think Irsay might do something, according to Peter King. And maybe he's just been overrated all this whole time.
I think that's it. That's it, yes.
He was getting the accolades in Philly.
That's right.
Not so much Peterson. It's like, they're really going to miss Reich. And then it turns out, look at Peterson might take Jacksonville to the division title.
Uh-huh. You're either with me or you're against me on this one. The Dallas defense is a unit that I absolutely do not want to play in December or January. They did it again yesterday. I know the Commanders are god-awful, but with that front and the playmakers that they have, again, on that side of the ball, the biggest talking point, I think, on the Cowboys defense leading into the season was it's going to be incapable or impossible to sustain that level of, the capability of the pick six and the scoop and score and the strip sack from last year. That's fine. They might not produce into, defensive touchdowns, but that pressure is still there up front, and they're still putting a lot of heat on the quarterback, and it's difficult to do anything on offense against this team.
It's fun to watch from in-play standpoint in the unders. I mean, the pass rush, ferocious.
It's so good.
Right?
That will travel.
Yep.
That will be a thing in the playoffs if they get there.
They'll give Stafford problems next week. Yep.
Yep. That said, you're either with me or against me on this. Kirk Cousins is never, ever going to change.
Right.
He is who he always thought he was, right?
Right.
New coach, more weapons, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't matter. He's going to be the same. They can put up a fine regular season record. He'll have good numbers at the end of the year. Jefferson will probably sparkle after 17 games. But if they make the playoffs, which I assume they're going to, they're going nowhere.
No, he has one playoff win.
That's it.
That's right. Absolutely. Reckless with the ball, same guy, and that's just he manipulated the system. He worked the system. How much money he's made playing quarterback.
Oh yes, he has.
But it's absolutely in a big game. Absolutely not.
Yep.
Right.
You're either with me or you're against me. Good coaches can still make bad decisions. John Harbaugh is a really good coach with Baltimore. Got to tell you. It's situational football. Probably should have kicked the field goal to go up by 3.
I had the same thing down. I just think that there's a difference between being aggressive and reckless. And I thought that was reckless.
Yeah.
What you're doing.
There's
4 minutes left, go up 3.
Yes. If that is 4 minutes to go in the first quarter, okay.
Yeah, right.
I'm totally fine by that.
I think that's what the thing Stefanski did, but he did the same thing, right? I didn't like what Kiffin did. Kiffin's up 3. Yeah. Same scenario. To go up 6 late in the game. I mean, they got the turnover there late, but it's like 4th and goal from the 3, the 4, and it's also the garbage you're running. What play are you running? You better have something good if you're going to do that.
Yes, exactly right. I don't want to have Lamar Jackson at the one backpedal to the 19-yard line. That's going to be, you're doing nobody any good there. You're either with me or you're against me on this. Yes, the Packers won again yesterday, but there's some trouble in paradise here.
Concur.
Ineffectiveness on the offensive side of the ball. Well, we're going to hear from Aaron Rodgers coming up in the next hour, where he doesn't think it's even sustainable to keep winning games like this. And yesterday, you can gash this team on the ground.
It's a long season, but it is right there for the Eagles. The NFC is right there just to take hold of that. Give me that 1 seed. Give me that 14-3, 15-2, and come to my house in January. It's right there for Philly. A lot of these teams have tough schedules, and Philly's got that easy schedule.
Actually, can I say this? I mean, if you want to rank tiers right now in the NFC, it's Philadelphia and then everybody else.
Absolutely.
Like, you have to do tier number 1 is Philly, and then you do the drop-off, and then you start tier number 2.
Mm-hmm.
A lot to like there in Philly. Absolutely. And my last one here,
okay.
This is not going to win everybody over, but I'm going to say it one more time today. You're either with me or you're against me on this. Watch out what's about to happen with the Steelers' offense. It's going to look completely different.
Okay.
He's taking shots right away. He's aggressive. He knows he has weapons on offense to get the ball to. He had the 3 INTs again. It means nothing to me. None of those were his fault. Trubisky, I'm poking my eyeballs out watching that offense again yesterday at halftime. I'm begging for Mike Tomlin to go to the bullpen and go to the rookie quarterback. They finally did. It will be the schedule's tough. I get that. Well, but what we're about to see in the next month of the Steelers' offense will look completely different than it did in September.
I'm usually with you. I'm against you on that one. The problem might be the OC as well, but we'll see in the tough schedule coming up. Okay, so I just ran it down with Gundy, right? When the spread, when it's a close spread within 3.5, and if this guy gets mentioned for some of these openings with these other jobs, Matt Campbell is so overrated it stinks. That was the definition of playing not to lose. You have a kicker who's already missed 2 field goals.
Yes, you do.
It's 1 yard.
Yep.
What are you doing?
Yep.
And then he takes the time down, and then they kick, and he misses not even close. And, of course, he's going to overcompensate because he was wide right on 2 of them, and then he's wide left. They had no business losing that game to Kansas. Huh? Special teams fiasco, everything. But, again, Chris Felica. So when Iowa State's been involved in games when the spread was within 3.5, minus 3.5 or plus 3.5, this guy is now 5-14. In that span, only 3 coaches have a worse winning percentage in close spread games. Kingsbury, Stockstill, and Tom Allen. Stop with this guy. He might have a great agent, but I can't stand it when this guy, what a coach. He blows it. I mean, he was out. He got pantsed by Aranda. What happened in the Baylor game, too?
I think the steam has to be off of him, no? I mean, he's not going to be mentioned for Nebraska's way too good for Matt Campbell.
I saw something with him in Wisconsin.
I hope it's a lie. For the love of God, no. Wisconsin's way better than Matt Campbell.
Either you're with me or you're against me. It's a great story again. The Dodgers, 2 wins away from the most in National League history. Most wins in the National League since 1909. 94 wins by multiple runs or more. Doesn't mean a damn thing. Again, this is like Atlanta with Bobby Cox. When we go back and look at this and all these wins and all this talent, this embarrassment of riches, you got to win the World Series. And that's the other thing. Your only World Series was the shortened year with the pandemic.
Yep.
You have all these wins. You're going to win 112 games. You've got to win the World Series.
Of course.
You have to do it. I don't care what happens in the regular season.
No, neither do I.
You do this every damn year, whether it's Jansen blowing a save, could be Kimbrel now, or, Kershaw, something happens, Roberts makes a boo-boo. You've got to win the World Series when you dominate the regular season like this year in and year out. And either you're with me or you're against me. Everyone needs to be treated the same in college football by the pollsters and the committee, and what happened last year means nothing. What happened 2 years means nothing, okay? What do you think would have happened? Remember what we did to Cincinnati last year? You struggled with so-and-so. You should be docked. Georgia was laying 32 points and almost lost the game. They shouldn't drop significant amount again. Again, throw out what happened last year. And they still have time to rattle through this schedule and maybe go undefeated. But they should be punished just like other. What would happen if that was a Pac-12 school?
Oh, no, of course.
What would happen to other teams? I mean, you have to factor in Alabama the same way. Now, Alabama's back up to number 1. They had no business beating Texas a couple weeks ago. So I agree with Herbstreit. Ohio State should be number 1 in what they've done. Well, you haven't played anybody. Okay, but blow people out, though. You can't be laying 32 when you're down 10 late in the game.
Is that 2 straight games where Georgia kind of struggled a little bit now?
That is right. They can't
back-to-back
before
spots?
that. Absolutely.
Yeah. By the way, on your note with the Dodgers, here's my comparison. If you want to go back, what is it now, 9? Peyton Manning's first year in Denver, when he had 55 touchdown passes and he threw for like 5,400 yards, both all-time records.
The Flacco game? Was it the Flacco?
No. When they made this, it was the second year then.
Okay.
They made the Super Bowl and they were housed by the Seahawks.
Yeah.
I said going into that game, the regulars I don't care. The regular season means nothing, pal. You need to win another Super Bowl.
Yep.
Talk to me at the end of the game, and they got blown out by the Seahawks defense. That's kind of how I view the Dodgers. Yeah. And it's not going to be easy in the National League.
It'll be tough. I mean, you might get Dodgers-Mets here in that second round.
Pro tip time, available for subscribers only at vsin.com. Per Michael Lombardi, earlier this hour, quarterback play is down in the NFL. Worth looking at more unders until it changes. I mean, he was saying quarterback play is the worst that he can remember in a long, long time.
You agree?
And there's a lot of bad spots.
Yeah.
Visit VSiN.com to get current odds, listen for free, find showtimes, and download VSiN sports betting podcasts.